know the demographics of the murder rates? Is this, as just spoken, a single incident, or is the murder rate or the murderers becoming younger and younger?
I can give you a few examples just off the top of my head. The recent home invasion on Aliamano, where they did the home invasion, part of a robbery. All of those suspects, with the exception of one, were juveniles. The only reason that isn't a murder is because the miracle worked at Queens Hospital did in saving him. But he was horrifically wounded, and all of them were juveniles. The only reason I'm hesitating is because I don't want to say a name unless I'm sure they were waived.
I was thinking more of a statistic, actually, nationally.
I can ask for you. I can get
As
this
to, if this is a beginning of a trend, or is it something as indicated a single incident?
I can say that it's certainly not a single incident in Honolulu, and it's not a single incident nationwide. There is an increasing trend of increased violence from the juveniles. The research certainly will support that.
Are drugs part of this scenario also?
I believe drugs are part of it, sir. So the motive for committing the initial crime.
What's the difference between an adult criminal mind that commits murder and a 17-year-old criminal mind that commits murder?
It's a funny question for me, in the sense of I am training in both law enforcement and in other areas. I've seen the research, I've seen the MRIs, I'm pretty well informed on it. If you went down to the standard for mental evaluation, criminal responsibility, the ability to recognize the difference between right and wrong, and the ability to control your behavior. That would be the standard I would apply to juveniles to. Do they know right from wrong? And can they control their behavior? I know that their minds are not completely fully developed in the frontal lobes. However, I also know they're well aware of the difference between right and wrong and the ability to control that behavior.
And last question is, when you said this was delayed 5 times, was there any substantive difference in each of those hearings that justified further delay, or was it more of a strategic tactics?
I'm not sure of the exact details for 2 reasons. One, as you know, all juvenile hearings are not public, which is part of another bill to make them, these type of cases, the record open. So no one knows exactly what happened, because they're all closed, sealed records with the juvenile hearings. I don't even know how much information the family's given.
But if this bill passed, it would go straight to the trial.
Just these very limited cases. Murder first, murder second. Juveniles 15 to 17. And there's no, the attempt language isn't in here. So I mean, you're talking a very narrow window for very specific, very dangerous people.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. Members, Rep. Bellotti had a question.
Is there someone from the judiciary, or can I have a public defender? Mr. Tanaki, is there a way that we can get a number of all the petitions for waiver and those that successfully got waived? Because I noticed in the judiciary testimony, there's no statistics for us to base our decision on. Just says nearly all the petitions.
I think, but I'm not sure that the judiciary might have those numbers.
The second question is, you mentioned that one alternative is to look at imposing a time restriction on the waiver process. Do you know other jurisdictions do that, and what is a range of the time limit imposed?
I don't know. I would assume that some jurisdictions do. We have a time limitation in criminal trials. It has to be 6 months. I mean, there's a lot of exceptions to that 6-month period, but I would assume that a similar type of time frame can be placed on waiver hearings. And the court would have to make a decision, say, within 60 or 90 days. I'm sure there would be some concern as far as meeting that time frame, and if you know, oftentimes A lot of the delay is having the medical professionals take a look at the child. And I know that we're in adult court, we're experiencing a hard time getting professionals to take those kinds of cases because of the level of compensation. So I don't know that that problem exists in family court either also, but
Is there a reason why there is no time limit imposed in the judicial system, or is it just kind of?
there just never has been, and until recently, I guess with this particular case, there really hasn't been much of a problem. But I mean, I would prefer to have those questions answered by Judge Wong, because she's the real expert in this area. So,
Thank you.
sure.
Members, any other
May I
questions?
do a follow-up question on that?
Sure,
If there
report.
was a time limit, what would you suggest is the time?
Again,
1 day, 1 month, 6 months, 6 weeks, a year?
I think 90 days to 6 months. Again, I would prefer the input of the judge, because I don't know how these cases are assigned to the individual judges. I don't know what their problems are in terms of getting professionals to work on these cases.